There's a technician that's making about $35 an hour. The shop that technician works for is charging around $200 an hour. Wait. You're telling me that the shop is charging the customer $200 an hour and only giving $35 to the technician who's actually producing that labor? It's pretty common to hear on social media that technicians feel like they should be making at least half of the labor rate by percentage. So if it's $200, the technician gets $100 for that hour. Now, I'm not going to necessarily debate that, but I'm going to explain to you why they're not actually making $200 an hour on a monthly or even yearly basis. It comes down to a concept called effective labor rate. There is typically a difference between the door rate and the effective labor rate. So for example, my door rate might be $200, but my effective labor rate might be $110. Now, this is not every shop, but this is a pretty common phenomenon, and it's usually because of maintenance. For example, we might charge you 2/10 for an oil change. That 2/10 means 2/10 of an hour. Now, since our door rate is $200, that means I should technically charge you 2/10 of $200. But I don't. And the reason why I don't is because oil changes are utilized typically traditionally as a loss leader. Most people are selling super cheap oil changes, so if I sell them as according to my door rate, I'm going to have a very expensive oil change, and my clients are going to go like this to the bottom because I'm not going to see anybody anymore because they're going to go to the cheaper shop. This is the concept of menu price items. Oil changes are typically a menu price, tire rotations, tune-ups, your wheel alignments, sometimes your air filters, and other maintenances like flushes and services like that. Those are all typically menu price items. And when they're menu price, they're typically discounted from the actual labor rate, which means we're going to take and sell those parts at the typical price with the markup, but we're going to decrease the labor so we can actually make it that menu price. This is how you come up with, say, a $69.95 oil change for all vehicles. It's going to be different for all vehicles, but we make it that menu price and allow for that variance. What that does is drive down the effective labor rate, which means how much on average we actually charge per hour. So we might say our door rate is $200 an hour, and if we're fixing your vehicle with an actual repair, not maintenance, we will charge you that. But when it's a maintenance ticket with maybe a flush, a tune-up, and spark plugs and things like that, we might give you a discount on labor to meet that menu price, which means on average, we're actually charging less than our door rate per each hour that the shop is open. So maybe it's true. Maybe technicians should be making a greater percentage of the rate, but maybe it's the effective labor rate, not the door rate. Comment below what you think.